So let's walk through a hypothetical situation that, based on my experience, I'm positive you have also experienced. When you're admiring a watch, learning more about it, and wanting to buy one, you ask the seller how much it costs or sees the price tag and experience sticker shock, which puts an end to your desire to buy the watch. Today, we'll be working in the opposite direction. So when you look at some watches that, on the surface, appear to be excellent, the sticker doesn't have the same effect and makes them seem more costly than the price tag suggests. Of course, everyone wants to purchase items at a lower cost. We tend to enjoy a reasonable price, but it's worth just glancing at the components today. Several watches meet the description of appearing a little more costly than the price tag suggests. So this video will primarily be on the cheaper end of the spectrum. I suggest that because watches look more costly, their prices will typically be lower. As you progress up the market, there are undoubtedly some exceptions. So we'll start at the more reasonable end and work our way up. SEIKO SRPE 53, price $275. In terms of money, it is a fantastic everyday watch. However, regarding the current revival of the SEIKO 5 series, this was the first watch I've seen that hit the mark. It has a great weave, but the dial appears to be much more costly than the price suggests. Bracelet leaves something to be desired, but you're getting a trustworthy movement inside. These typically cost $200 to $300. When everything is put together, this is a fantastic entry-level automatic watch from SEIKO. In a SEIKO 5 package that is also quite wearable, you get several hues and a lot of the upside you'll get with some of the Prospects collection. So this one certainly meets the criteria. ORIENT KANO, price $255. Entry-level divers from ORIENT did an excellent job offering incredible sights for the money. Even if the ORIENT KANO doesn't have any additional sapphire crystal components, the style of the dial surface is incredibly sturdy and more formal. Different color schemes and a little larger case sizes are available, but holding the watch in your hand seems more upscale. Additionally, this competes well in the price bracket it occupies, which is approximately $200 or so, compared to a more costly dive watch. Going with the ORIENT KANO in-house caliber has a lot to recommend it. In addition, they recently released some new models with various dial variations, including one with a vibrant red. TISSOT PRX, price $375. The next alternative is from TISSOT, and these brand new watches have lately been accessible on the website baldassarre.com. However, these were the ones that stuck out for a few reasons, one of which was the simple notion that they appeared to be more expensive than they were. I'll start with the cost $375 for a Swiss watch with charming quality. But it was also taking into account the goal of the design. Therefore, these watches replicate a late 1970s design from another model, the TISSOT PRX, which also rocked into the early 1980s. They represent the overall architecture with a band integrated into the casing, and the finishing is excellent for the price. You're getting some beveling and a lovely polishing and brushing blending on the case's side. For about $375, you can obtain a watch with a simple dial format, attractive small reflecting finishes on the dial surface, attached markings, and dependable quartz movement. Some people might prefer a mechanical version of this, but you have to enjoy what this item brings together for those looking for this currently quite fashionable style. If you look at any existing brand, you'll notice that many of them produce designs in the magenta color scheme that are being copied repeatedly. From an inexpensive viewpoint, this is likely one of the greatest options available to obtain. TIMEX NAVI XL Automatic, price $259. TIMEX is now a company with almost 2 stories, so the watches on the more budget-friendly end may appear very cheap, but that's what they're trying for, and they are priced accordingly, which is excellent about TIMEX. But as you move up the market a little, sometimes they still sort of have that fun aesthetic that might not necessarily demand the price tag jump or the price jump for their watches you're going to see. In my opinion, the TIMEX NAVI XL Automatics, though, will be an exception. These watches, which cost approximately $250 and come in a range of case types and dial colors, do a great job, in my opinion, of encapsulating the TIMEX design, which is kind of that affordable entry into the world of just incredibly solid-looking watches with a simple, no-nonsense movement inside. Many things are appealing. This can be furthered by considering that quartz models are also available for even half the cost of the automatic variants, because for the most part, nothing is truly changing from the outside. It will primarily be powered by movement from within. These features elevate this watch above your regular TIMEX watch in appearance and make it seem more upscale. You can also get various case treatments, such as IP-coated casing. As a result, it looks excellent, and its price tag makes it a little more upscale. But again, TIMEX did a great job with these. Are you enjoying it yet? If you do and are new to this channel, please subscribe to be updated for more upcoming videos like this. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share. LACO AQUASCAPHE, price $410. Let's talk about pilot-style watches. There are undoubtedly several tiers that do this design effectively. Many people desire to add it to their collections. One of those will be LACO, among others with a rich history. LACO, despite being unlike other brands that fall under the broad price range of, let's say, $500 to $2,000 that they do a great job with their entry-level alternatives, the Augsburg and the AACHEN, which I want to mention at the lower end, approaching about $400. One feature of the AACHEN that I particularly appreciate is the Type B dial. There is a lot of history behind these watches, which navigators utilized during World War II. They are housing Miyota calibers, which is really their primary issue, but this is more from an entry-level perspective, which I appreciate. However, that is not entirely a terrible thing. So you're getting an A21A movement, which includes a hacking functionality, which is a tremendous plus, especially when you think about how these watches work and how having a hacking feature was so important for synchronization on the battlefield. So it is crucial. But from the perspective of the case and dial quality, a lot of what you see in these pieces will be the same in some of their higher level watches that will be priced at approximately $1,000, and you can have that for $400. So you're getting a workhorse Miyota movement within. When you're looking to break into the world, but are still deciding whether to commit to, say, the IWCs of the world or some of the more expensive options for watches in this style, you're getting some tremendous upside. So this is a fantastic opportunity to get a taster or sample of this design language from a terrific brand, LACO, who is doing a great job with these clocks here. SEIKO Cocktail Time SRPB 77, price $450. SEIKO's Cocktail Time line of watches is among the best in this price range, for looking significantly more upscale than other watches. There are several dial styles to choose from, all with that almost instantly recognizable sort of rib-style finish that you'll discover at the center. The blue handset's silver dial makes them the nicest watches you're likely to find in dial finishing for approximately $400. These watches compete well with those that cost twice as much since they look amazing, are functional, and are somewhat larger on the case edges. However, they appear much more costly, and SEIKO offers one of the best entry points into the realm of incredibly reliable, well-constructed Japanese automatics. ZELOS Nova, price $950. The Nova was a new entry into the world of dress watches, although ZELOS is still very much attached to their dive watches as a smaller brand, and this watch gives off a far more costly appearance on both the front and the rear. let's begin by talking about the dial, precisely the Aventurine dial. Although you can look at other Novas, this one is consistently sold out and unquestionably looks the most expensive. This watch looks excellent for the price of about $950. This object is incredibly eye-catching and simply well-made when viewed through a macro lens. Afterward, you'll find a Pazu 7001 caliber if you turn it over. It's a manual wind watch, so there isn't a rotor to obscure the exposed mechanisms and bridges. These are unquestionably some of the most attractive movements in this price range, generally housed in timepieces costing between $1,000 and $2,000. Baltic AQUASCAPHE GMT, price $1,100 to $1,200, and Laurier HYPERION, price $800. Looking at the Baltic AQUASCAPHE GMT, several color variations are available. And another choice is Laurier, a fantastic newcomer developed by a husband and wife team here in the United States. The Laurier will retail a little bit, and the Baltic will retail for more than $1,000. So in terms of what you're getting, it's quite cost-effective. There will be a Swiss movement inside, and the bezel will likely have a Pepsi style, which will appeal to many people. And based on my observations, there is just as much of a market need as a market want. But from a GMT viewpoint, these are two excellent choices that will more than hold their own against the competition. FORMAX Essence, price $1,390. As we jump up to $1,000 right now, let's talk about the FORMAX Essence. Again, as soon as you reach the $1,000 to $1,500 range, I believe the FORMAX Essence is the recommended timepiece in this price range if you're seeking a watch that seems more costly. I have continued to be awestruck by what FORMAX has been accomplishing. They recently launched a 39mm FORMAX Essence, which is fantastic news for many individuals who may have been on the brand's defense. In addition, they have updated their dials and several of their styles. This watch looks fantastic, finishing with the applied markers to receive a unique case suspension system that will aid shock absorption and wrist flexibility. It's undoubtedly a goofy feature, but it demonstrates that no sacrifice was made in just cutting corners. Additionally, you will receive a cost-certified movement of the highest caliber. It will move more like an off-the-shelf movement and run like a top. It also looks very fantastic. The band on these watches is what steals the show. They appear to be much more expensive and will be worn with watches that cost twice or more, which is depressing, yet very accurate. FORMAX has a lot of ties in the business. In fact, the company's founder comes from a family that produces a lot of original equipment manufacturer, OEM, wristbands and case designs for other manufacturers. In that sense, what they can accomplish while utilizing various materials is their secret sauce. However, the FORMAX Essence appears to be much more expensive. SEAMASTER Diver 300M, price $4,900 to $5,200. Now let's speak about luxury watches, which is odd because we're talking about watches that appear to be more expensive but aren't. However, the 300-meter Omega SEAMASTER Diver will be the first one here. There are several reasons why this watch is fantastic. One of them will involve merely observing the surroundings, contributing to the concept. The Tudor Black Bay collection, which is not at all slack, will be placed beneath this watch. But there's no denying that, from a specification and finishing aspect, compared to a SEAMASTER Diver 300 meters, it does appear more premium. And then, at the most opulent end, there are the Rolex Submariners, which are significantly more expensive than the Omega SEAMASTER Diver 300. These watches are in the range of $7,500 to $10,000, and you must ask whether it is worth it. On the other hand, you'll have a very neatly made machine with a quality coaxial 8800, a nice power reserve, and a movement that looks exceptionally excellent for the price. You will undoubtedly find a superb machine finish movement in this place. Additionally, there is a striking wave dial with a ceramic bezel on the front and a really attractive band. This watch is fantastic and is probably in the running for the most obvious or somewhat entry-level luxury watch you can find. Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Small Seconds, price $6,350. Jumping into the world of dress watches is likely one thing that surprises you the most because when you think of a brand like JLC's, many watches are taken into account. However, the REVERSO is unquestionably the brand's flagship product. But it's also a pretty loaded selection. Looking at these modest seconds, many individuals neglect the more reasonably priced portion of the REVERSO collection. When you consider the history of the REVERSO design, how it's probably the best conversation starter you're going to have in watches in general, with its chassis-style case and being able to flip it the actual watch over. Not talking about dual faces because those start getting into the 5 figures, as well as the higher complications. You can get into those watches new for $6,000, which yes, is still a lot of money. However, these few moments are incredible. With its illustrious history, you won't find a better dress watch for $6,000 anywhere. The originality and how wearing one of these makes you personify class. Unfortunately, these are only timepieces that appear more expensive since you wear them out and about to display your wealth. These watches don't necessarily draw notice to you. But when someone does, perhaps investigate and dig a little bit deeper, you can continue to impress them with a watch that costs around $6,000 and seems more costly than it is. Grand Seiko Snowflake, price $5,800. Lastly, Grand Seiko glancing at the Snowflake is almost like the physical representation of an idea many people identify with the brand. Even though they have released numerous limited edition watches over the previous 12 months, including many watches from the Four Seasons collection, the Snowflake maintained its popularity despite the competition. It all began with the notion that great Seiko watches would have an absurdly high level of craftsmanship for their price. Say under $1,000, you won't be able to beat it. The Snowflake significantly advanced this idea. The Snowflake completely reinvents the concept of using mechanical energy to drive quartz oscillation without an external power source by completing the dial, Zaratsu polishing it, and adding a spring drive movement inside. That is extraordinarily effective in obtaining that level of crystalline precision. Simply put, this item is quite appealing from top to bottom. The critical thing with the Grand Seiko and how they've been able to be elevated is that they look so wonderful on video. But even then, it's almost farther than when you get one in person. And that's it! Thank you for watching. These watches are an excellent starter for someone who wants to upscale and upgrade their watch collection. I sincerely think that these brands are all great in their ways. But let me know in the comments below what you plan to buy in this collection, or if you already have one. Before you leave, watches are one of the most common accessories, or some might say necessities, someone could need. But what exactly does Rolex have that people want to get a timepiece from this brand? If you want to know why, make sure to click and watch this video here. See you there.